What's up, people of the world? This is JodoSauce1129, and today I'm going to teach you how to make your own Foldabots. Now, before I begin, I must tell you that this isn't the only way to make your Foldabots, but this is the method that I find the easiest to do. To make your Foldabots, you will need the following: paper, pencils, pens, scissors, glue, tape, paper clips, a ruler, a camera. Now this camera could either be a cell phone camera, a digital camera, or any camera that has a good enough quality. A computer with a graphics designing program installed is also needed. You could use any program to design your Foldabots, but I find that Manga Studio and Photoshop are the easiest to use. The first step in making a Foldabot is planning out the concept. You have to decide whether the robot you're gonna make will be a standalone robot or part of a combiner group. You also have to figure out its alternate mode, and if it will be a Ludobot or a Foldabot. Now this is all about your imagination, especially the alternate mode. The alternate modes of a Foldabot can be divided into two categories: objects and animals. The object category is divided into two subcategories: vehicles and everything else. Vehicle robots make up most of the current Foldabots. Some Foldabots that can be found under this category are the Diardrones and Manejo, whilst the miscellaneous objects are few in number, with some examples being Lupet and Dakotron. On the other hand, the animal category is also divided into two subgroups: the regular creatures and the mythical creatures. Examples of regular creature robots are Bangis, Tulos, and Kalasag. Foldabots under the mythical creature category are quite few, with the Mythocrons being the only Foldabots under this category. For this tutorial, I will be making a single standalone Foldabot whose alternate mode is a sled. Okay, next step is the name. Now, finding a name for your Foldabot may be a bit hard, since Foldabot names are mostly Tagalog, and a lot of the more common names such as Bato or Apoy have already been taken. But here's a tip for you guys: use Google Translate and translate any word relating to your Foldabot's alternate mode. Since I'll be making a sled robot, I'll be translating the word slide from English into Tagalog. So now we have our Foldabot's name, Dulas. The next steps involve actually making up the Foldabot. First, we must draw up the Foldabot. Use boxes and other polygons to make the main parts like the chest or the hips, and use round shapes to make the joints of your Foldabot. Try to make your Foldabot stand out by giving it some unique features like a mask or some goggles. The possibilities are only limited by your imagination. After you're done drawing, you can color it in using any coloring material, but if you want your Foldabot's art to look cleaner, then take a picture using your camera and send it to your computer. Now we're ready for the next step. The next step involves cleaning up the drawing and adding color to it digitally. For this step, I'll be using the programs Manga Studio and Adobe Photoshop. First, we draw the outline, and for that we'll use Manga Studio. Now, I won't be getting into detail about all the tools and all that, but to trace over the robot, we first import the file to Manga Studio by clicking the file and dragging it to the program. Then, creating a new layer by either pressing Ctrl, Shift, N, or by going to Layer, New Raster Layer. Okay, so the tool we'll be using the most here is the Figure tool. With the Figure tool, you can create straight lines, curved lines, polygons, circles, squares, and other figures, of course. So just click and drag while using this tool. Some of the sub-tools require you to move your mouse after letting go of the cursor. This is required in the ellipse, polyline, and continuous curve sub-tools. Just try your best to trace over the original drawing, and once you're done, turn off the drawing layer so that only the lines you made are visible, and save as PNG file. It's a PNG file. Now here comes the next and one of the most time-consuming parts, Photoshop. So for this step, we'll be using Photoshop to color in our art. The tool that will be used the most in this step is the paint bucket tool. This makes it easier to fill in a certain space of the picture. Also, I'll be using the sled picture as a reference so that it can look more cleaner, yes, redundancy right there, and have some better color blending. Now here are some tips for coloring. There are two types of color relations, contrasting and complementing colors. An example of a Foldabot with complementing colors is LSEO, while an example of a Foldabot with contrasting colors is Butandrone. It is your choice to choose what color your Foldabot will be. Once you are finished, save it as a PNG file. You can either add a new layer and paint it to make a background layer, or you can save it as a plain PNG with transparency. Now you might be thinking, Dave, what's a PNG? Why can't I save it in JPG? The answer is, if you want, you can save it in JPG, but the quality will become lower. I prefer saving in PNG so that the quality of the picture is maintained. So now that you know a little more about Photoshop, let's move on with the actual Foldabot toy. First, you need to create a test version or a draft of the Foldabot toy. You will need ruler, pencils, and paper for this step. It might take a while and you can actually make your own toy directly in Photoshop, but trust me guys, it's easier if you do this. After you've made the draft, assemble it and take note of all the measurements, the height and width of each segment, the center of the face, the diameter of the wheels, and any other parts your Foldabot has. So here comes the final editing stage, making the toy in Photoshop. Now you can't tell because I fast forwarded the whole process, but this step actually took me more than an hour. Some tips for you guys: make sure that you turn on the rulers for Photoshop. To do this, go to view, then make sure rulers is checked. Here's another tip for you guys: always pay attention to symmetry. If you have some Photoshop knowledge, then select a layer using the rectangular tool, then right click and layer via copy. After that's done, select the copied layer, then right click and free transform, then flip it horizontally to make a mirror image. This will make this step twice as fast. After you're done, add the additional text, save as PNG, print, cut, glue, and you are done. If you don't have a printer, do not worry guys, you can send the picture to your USB flash drive and have it printed at a photo developing studio. Just make sure that they print it on glossy photo paper that is 200 GSM, 230 GSM, 250 GSM, 280 GSM, or 300 GSM. I know that a lot of you guys watching this may not know a lot about Photoshop, so here are my last tips for you guys. Take a break every now and then. Photoshop is really hard and you need to rest or just eat every now and then. And YouTube is full of Photoshop tutorial videos, so try and study these if you have time. Try to develop and enhance your skills and just have fun. Well, that's all for now guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you want more tutorials like this. Don't forget to like, favorite, and all that good stuff. Thank you and good day.